Okay, guys, this is question 44. This is a paramecium. Paramecium is a unicellular protist. And here is a diagram that you need to know the parts. It is asking when a chemical is added to pond water in which paramecium lives, paramecium stops moving. Which structure is most likely affected? So you got to find what is the thing that's making it move. And well, that's the part is one is cilia, two is the contactile vacuole, and three is the oral groove, and the anal pore is four. Well, this is the hair. This is like limbs. It wiggles around. So it affects the cilia. But if they ask what is the mouthpiece for food, that would be the oral groove, and that's going to be this part right here. This is where it takes in its food and consumes it. The anal pore is what it excretes, any waste. The vacuole for storage. So make sure you know the parts of it. 45. What adaptations do ferns, geosperms, angiosperms have that mosses do not? And just remember, geosperms are pine cones. Angiosperms are going to be your flowering plants. They all have vascular veins. They have those veins on the leaf, like this. These are vascular plants. Moss is like that green stuff that grow on trees. They have to absorb it through their cells. So all of these that mosses do not, well, they have vascular tissue, and that would be D. They have vascular tissue. All right, question 46. Here's the charts. I told you to know these charts. Your charts show what is the best illustration for growth of a population introduced into an environment with limited resources. So you're maxed out on their carrying capacity. Your natural resources, the limiting resources, are going to be your food, water, shelter, mating, anything like that. So this S curve, remember S, they stop at a certain point. Looks like S stops. It has that curve. It stops. It maxes out its carrying capacity right here that it cannot hold anymore. This would be exponential growth for like human population. So your answer is A. 47. Which would most likely result in a negative growth rate in a human population of the country? So we're going to talk about negative, what's going to I'll do that. So we have death rate is higher. So if the death rate is higher than the birth rate, well, that means that the population would decrease because there's more death rate. Birth rate is higher than the death rate. Well, the population would increase. The country has improved economic conditions. Well, they improve the conditions. So if you have good economic conditions, it's going to increase the population. If the country has improved sanitation, means clean water, clean areas, it's going to increase. The only one that's negatively affected is going to be A. 48. Why are many farmers encouraged to plant different types of crops on the same land throughout the year? Well, if you plant one type of plant, like peanuts, back to back, it will take certain nutrients out of the plant. And like peanuts, they need a lot of lime. So that is going to destroy the soil. So if you put corn, peanuts, soybeans, tomato plants, whatever, it's going to give you a variation of different qualities of the soil. So it helps preserve the quality of the soil. So make sure that is D. 49. During translation is where they're going to get those codons and translate it for amino acid. What does the translation RNA deliver to the ribosomes? Well, that's going to be in your photosynthesis booklet, and here's this picture here. So this is transfer RNA, and this one's already hooked up. It is going to give you your amino acids. it's going to give you that code for that amino acids. So during translation, it is coding for those amino acids. And then after this long chain amino acids, are 20 of them put together, it gives you your protein. All right, question 50. Which is most likely cause an increase in frequency of genetic mutation in humans? So you're going to talk about if you're going to have some mutation going on, you're going to have radiation exposure, you're going to have increase of chemical, environmental, anything like that can cause a genetic mutation. So one of these is going to be your X-ray exposure, and that's going to be radiation, increase in radiation. So that's going to be your mutation. So it's going to be D. So having freckles is dominant. So you always look and go ahead and write freckles is dominant. I'm going to put a capital F because I know all tall capitalized letters are going to be dominant over not having freckles. So not having freckles is going to be lowercase f because it's not dominant, it's recessive. If two individuals are heterozygous, means they're going to have a big F and a little f for freckles, have a child. What is the probability the child will have freckles? Well, you have to use a Punnett square for probability. So mother, father, doesn't matter which way you have it, you put them together, bring that down, bring this over, bring this one down. You always put the recessive on the side and then dominant in front. This one's dominant, recessive. These two are recessive. Well, there's only, just think about it as 4 quarters, make $1. That's 25% chance the person will have dominant and have freckles. So your answer is 51. Excuse me, the answer for 51 is 25% B. Identical twin girls are separated at birth and cared for by 2 different families over 20 years. The twins have different heights and weights. What is most likely their difference? Well, if they have the genetic conditions are the same, then that means they have to have environmental factors that made the difference. And the environmental factors would be the twins' diet, what they eat, and their physical activities cause them to have different weights and different heights.